I hate players who are not there, who talk. If you are not there, you don't have the guts to make any statement. That is why I don't just listen to statements made by just any player. If I hear like somebody like Cassano, when Cassano was talking about something like that is why I like Roberto Baggio. He said that he hates to listen to pundits because some of these people, they couldn't even kick a ball. You can't kick a ball and you sit down when you criticize players. Cassano was making issues about Ronaldo, and Ronaldo was like, hey Cassano, what did he do in football that he had the guts to criticize him? Cristiano Ronaldo could stand up and talk about Manchester United and talk about their dressing room and talk about all the things that they did. Me, what do I have to say? It's a 5-time Ballon d'Or winner talking. He has gone to teams and won the best player of every team. If you to talk about it, you Rashford, you had a chance because Will Keane had an injury in what you call Manchester United Team B. Nobody even remembers Will Keane. Will Keane was our striker. He said United had Rooney was injured that season, 2015-2016. Memphis Depay was injured. We didn't have any player, so United was going to kick for Will Keane. James Wilson was injured. When they went there, Will Keane was also injured. Then they picked you, an 18-year-old boy. First game against Midland, you scored 2 goals. Arsenal, you scored 2 goals. You scored against City. Then we took you as next season. After then, United had now started. So Mourinho came in, gave you the chance. You played in the last season of Rooney. They gave you Rooney's number 10 jersey in the 17-18 season. In fact, the whole team was built around you. At first, you came in as a number 9, and you said that you can't play as a number 9 because of you. The Martial who was supposed to be playing number 9 was then pushed to 11. Now they put him back to number 9 so that you will play the left wing. Now, during the time of Ole, that is during the time of Mourinho complained about you. It's not that Mourinho never complained about you. Ole came in. Ole's time, you playing in that same team. Then there were riff-raffs, and the last season before Cristiano Ronaldo came in 1920 season. That was when they were saying you have your arguably best season. You couldn't even score up to 35 goals. That was your best season. Ronaldo comes in and there were people who were making issues like because of Cristiano Ronaldo you cannot play. How can they bring a best player into a team and you cannot play with the player?
Hi everyone, you're welcome to another exciting episode right here on Sport 101. We have a very packed show for you this episode, and trust me, you're gonna love it. We're gonna be previewing the La Liga season. Also, we'll head to Italy, look at the Italian Serie A. We'll head to the German Bundesliga and preview the German Bundesliga as well. Also, we get into the Donnarumma story. What is that about? Which team would best suit him? We are hearing from his agent that they are looking at the EPL teams. Which teams have come calling? Also, Marcus Rashford has some scathing remarks on Manchester United in relation to their rebuilding. Lots of stories to unpack in this episode right here on Sports 101. I do have the usual suspects with me. There's Percy, there's Sammy, also there's Evans here. Guys, lots of stories this weekend. But obviously, the season is about to kickstart in the English Premier League, in the La Liga. Hopefully, next week we'll get the Serie A and the German Bundesliga. But we cannot talk about, the start of the season, the games and the starting of the season without previewing the La Liga, especially. Sammy,
yes,
I don't know. People think that it's not going to be as exciting as it was last season. Sammy, let's look at the La Liga season ahead of us.
Well, first of all, I think that it gets exciting year after year. We are excited that football is back, and so our weekends will make more sense. But talking about the La Liga, the usual suspects: Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Athletic Bilbao, maybe Sevilla. But Barcelona are still having their own challenges with registering players. The league is starting this weekend. They have a game against Mallorca. It's on Saturday or Sunday.
They are traveling
right?
to Mallorca.
They're going away to Mallorca this Saturday. So it's interesting to see the players that will be available to Hansi Flick against Mallorca on Saturday. And I think that if Barca can build on what we saw last season, they could defend the league. I think that every other thing that they have going on behind the scenes, yes, it could be distractions, but we saw how they handled it on the pitch last season. The only challenge now is that when you have some of these issues recurring and they are not sorted out, at some point it gets to take a toll on the squad, because look, whatever you see on the pitch is a reflection of what goes on behind the scenes. And so if Barcelona do not find a way to resolve some of these challenges, we might get to start seeing the effect on the pitch. Already Inigo Martinez has left the team. I didn't see that coming. I think that Barcelona allowed that deal to happen because of financial constraints. We're hearing about Paul Kubasi, whether he will stay or go.
He's staying.
We don't know whether that's been confirmed. He's staying.
He's staying.
Now, there's been a meeting ground between Ter Stegen and Barcelona, so that is being sorted out mutually. But there's still issues about player registrations with the new goalkeeper that has come in with Marcus Rashford, as to whether or not Barcelona would still bring in one or two players. We don't know. I think Barca still need to augment their squad. We're hearing that Lewandowski has picked up an injury, so whether or not he'll be fit to start that game over the weekend, or he will be fit for the first few games of the season, we don't know. So I think if we're looking at squad depth for Barcelona, it's something that might be a challenge this season if they don't resolve a lot of their financial issues and player registration, and make the squad in camp feel like they are good to go for the season. As it stands, I don't think that Barcelona are ready for the La Liga. If you have a player like Rashford that has gone on pre-season with the team, he's fit, he's ready to go, but he hasn't been registered, and so he will not be eligible to play over the weekend. It just creates a lot of uneasiness in the dressing room. But on the other hand, you look at a team like Real Madrid, they don't have any issues. They have a new coach in place. They've brought in one or two new players. I'm sure Alonso will be trying to implement whatever system that he wants to. And Real Madrid will be looking to bounce back from whatever disappointments they had last season. And so I think that will be the main competition for Barcelona. I don't think Barca will have it so easy over Madrid as they did last season. They met 4 times. They beat Madrid 4 times. They didn't cruise to the league, but I think that they had it a little bit easy because Real Madrid dropped so many points in the league last season. But I don't think that will happen this season. I think Real Madrid would definitely be an upgrade on what we saw from them last season, even in the Champions League. So Barcelona have it all to do this season to defend the La Liga. Yes, they can, but I just think that a lot depends on what goes on behind the scenes at Barcelona. That would really determine whether Barca would be in that proper frame of mind off the pitch to do what matters on the pitch. Player finances, salaries, and all of these things, I think at some point it takes a toll on the team. So Real Madrid, to me, look very solid going into the season. I think Atletico Madrid, they've always been there. They've always been in that conversation. They were third last season. They haven't been too loud in the transfer window. So they are practically taking the same team into the league season this season. And so they are always in that conversation. Athletic Bilbao got into the top 4 last season. They had some very good performances, but there's always that 4th and 5th position in the La Liga that is always being fought for. The top 3, we always know the usual suspects, but when it comes to 4th, 5th, 6th, you have a Sevilla there. Sometimes you have Villarreal, you have Bilbao there, you have a Getafe at some point, and so that we cannot really predict. But the La Liga is one very easy league to predict, because if it's not Real Madrid, it's Barcelona. Maybe once in 10 years or once in 7 years, you can have Atletico Madrid pop up somewhere in the top 2. So to wrap up, I think it's just, again, Real Madrid and Barcelona. As it stands now, Barca might be champions, but Madrid look like the more stable team going into the league. I think Real Madrid is more ready for the La Liga. as it stands now than Barcelona.
You guys, I hold a little bit of a contrary, view to it. I think that the problems of Barcelona last season was actually more intense than it is this season. Last season, they had to, struggle with, having a new manager in charge with literally some players that very few people are familiar with. Paul Kubasi burst onto the scene, Casado burst onto the scene, Mark Bernard burst onto the scene, so Inigo Martinez. So last season's issues was more huge compared to this season. This season, the team seems very settled. The team seem to have a direction. They know how to play. And as Flick has said it, he's not changing his style anytime soon. I remember the look on Cesc Fabregas' face when they played, Como all the way in Italy. He's not going to change at any point in time. So for me, Barca going into this season, they look like a team that is battle ready. They look like a team that is more settled. Yes, Sami has enumerated the issues that Barcelona have on their caps. They would always have issues with registration, but in the long run, they would eventually register these players. We saw Dani Olmo when he was about coming in last season. Would they be able to register? Eventually, the La Liga will find a way to make that space. And the good thing for Barcelona is that, like Samuel went there, they've been able to come to a middle ground with Ter Stegen. The reason why they requested for Ter Stegen's medical records was because they had to release those records to the La Liga for the La Liga to allow them clear Ter Stegen's cap space for them to be able to have enough cap space to register a lot of players. That's why Barca pushed that Ter Stegen should give them the medical record. So that issue will eventually or has been resolved, and so there is that enough cap space. Inigo Martinez leaving as well gives some room for some cap space there. So for the registration of the players, eventually they'll get to register the likes of Marcus Rashford and Juan Garcia. I think that this Barcelona team is very ready to battle Real Madrid. There's Lamine Yamal. I expect that he gives us, something even better than he did last season. I expect that, now he's grown, he's seen a lot, both in the European scene and the domestic scene as well. I expect him to even be a much better player. Rafinha, what he did last season surprised a lot of people. I'm expecting that. I don't think that he can replicate the same form he gave us last season. It will be crazy if he even replicates the same form, not to talk of he topping up what he did last season, because last season was an outrageous season for a player who is not, for me, he's not so much of a prime player or a marquee player, but what he did last season was incredible. I'm not expecting that Rafinha would supersede what he did last season. For a player Lewandowski, age has really caught up with him. We'll see him here and there, but if there are some players I'm expecting to see a lot of, it will be Ferran Torres, and Fermin Lopez. We've seen them play in the various preseason games that Barcelona has engaged in, and they've been very, very good. We've seen Paul Kubasi, we've seen Casado. The good thing is that Marc Bernard is back from injury. There's Gavi, who is back, who is fit. Frankie de Jong, Pedri will be there. There's a new goalkeeper, arguably one of the best goalkeepers in the La Liga, in Juan Garcia. So it looks like Barca would be picking on from where they left off. Like Ovi has always been saying, the best business Barcelona could have ever done was the acquisition of Hansi Flick. He has always been that man who would ensure that no matter the little holes or gaps in the team, he'll find a way to get the team to play very well. And in preseason, I'm not someone who is so much fond of preseason games, but you could see that he knows how to get this team to play the way he wants to play. So for Barcelona, I'm expecting them to either equal what they did last season or to even go a notch higher. I think that there's one thing about Real Madrid that a lot of people are losing sight of. The La Liga gives chance for you to register 24 players. What Real Madrid did this morning was to ensure that they leave a space for that 24th player by registering Franco Mostintano as a Castilla player. And we know very well that Xavi Alonso has spoken extensively about he needing an extra defender, he needing an extra midfielder. He's not so much fond of Ceballos, he's not so much fond of Militao. And so I have a feeling that's the reason why Real Madrid had to leave that space. And so right now, the first team players on the La Liga's roster, Real Madrid has registered 23 instead of 24 because Franco Marcintano has been registered as a Castilla player. Okay. They have issues there. I think that Real Madrid will have issues because they're coming with a new manager who plays totally different from how this Real Madrid team has been built under Carlo Ancelotti. This Real Madrid team is built to be a super counter-attacking team. Vinicius on the left or on the right, Kylian Mbappe, a speedster, Jude Bellingham knows how to progress the ball with pace. And this team is primarily built to counter-attack. Now, a manager comes in, we know how he wants to play. Very positional and a possessive-based kind of manager in Xavi Alonso. He's the type of manager, he wants patient build-up and all of that. So this team would have to work their way around navigating what this new manager wants to do and what they are used to. So obviously they're not going to be that explosive Real Madrid we've seen under Carlo Ancelotti. I'm not saying they're going to have problems, but it's going to be more difficult transitioning as a team under the new manager. If it was a manager who is used to what they already used to, it would be easy, but he totally plays a different, style of play from what this Madrid team, is used to. Talk about the players they've brought in. Dean Hostin, they've also brought in one player from, Benfica and all. They've not really signed a lot to augment this team. They've brought in Trent Alexander-Arnold. If there's one team that I think would be a surprise to many, Sammy, guys, it will be Atletico Madrid because surprisingly, they have signed the most, but like Sammy said, they've done it quietly. They've signed the most. Let me get you the players that Atletico Madrid has signed this season. Lots of players, that Atletico Madrid has been able to bring in. They've brought in, Raspadori from Napoli. They've brought in, Sergio Moreno from Deportivo Alaves. Sorry. They've brought in David Hanko from Feyenoord. They've also brought in Thiago Almada from Botafogo. You watch him in the Club World Cup. They also have another, Atlanta player on their books, Matteo Retegui. So they've signed a lot of about 8 players to augment this squad, but they've done it silently. Atletico Madrid will be that surprise team that might even unseat, for me, if there's any team that will probably take the second position in the league. I'm tipping Barcelona to win the league. If there's any team that's going to take the second position, it will be Atletico Madrid, not Real Madrid, primarily because I think Real Madrid will need to go through a certain kind of transition that might affect how they play. But I don't know I don't know what you think, guys.
Okay. Good morning to our listeners. First of all, I would disagree with you on some of the things you said. First of all, I want to first talk about very small or very, very short on the Lamine Yamal issue. You were talking about the fact that one of the best things that happened to Barcelona last season was Lamine Yamal, which undoubtedly nobody would disagree. But if you were talking about it's something that he wouldn't be able to replicate, I don't understand because
it was Rafinha.
No, it was Rafinha. It was Rafinha, right?
No, you talked about Lamine Yamal too.
No, that I made reference to the fact that
you talked about
Lamine Yamal would rather even get better than what he did last year. It was Rafinha that I do not think that he can replicate
with respect to if that's the case, and then now with respect to Lamine Yamal, I expect him to do way better because what he did. Of course, he's somebody who has not even reached a quarter of his prime, which he would be able to do more. And at 17 years, what he did, the only person who surpassed him is Nazara de Lima at 17. Apart from him, there is no other player. Now, with respect to Barca's issue, it's like you talked about it, but you sugarcoated it and didn't really expose it to become for us to really know what actually is going on. Of course, there are a few things that they can use as buffer, but the things that are really blocking the signing the registration of players does not only come to, they've been able to do some of them. You talked about Ter Stegen's issue of he officially signing that his injury is a long term, so they would have to put off 80% of that so that they'll be able to register that. But apart from that, there are other issues that unless La Liga decide to soften their stance, that heavier tables decide to do that, save that it will be very difficult, because the first one, Barca spent more than they earned last season, which is on record. Their amount they spent on wages is way more than they were able to. And you know that as at now, Szczesny has not been registered.
Yes.
Szczesny is not registered. Yesterday, last season, he was only brought in as a makeshift. So Szczesny has not been registered. Juan Garcia was just being able to register, and Rashford. So another issue that is going to make it so difficult for them is that, you know, Barca over the years were able to activate their that is financial levers to be able to. Now, one of the things they wanted to do to be able to get their whole financial books to be good was the VIP box, that is making their VIP box sales to be available in their books, but La Liga has not given approval, and La Liga has not also been able to do the inspection. So as at now, in their books, it has not been factored. That amount is 100 million. If it were to be able to be accepted, that would have augmented. So that is also an issue that is there. Now, they are also trying to do something by making the board members agree or get a facility, that is a loan, a guarantee of 7 million euros, each of them. So now they've gotten to the extent that even the board members have to guarantee loans to be able to come in to make this thing work. And this is far-fetched. It is going out of hand. And Rashford, as it stands, his registration is not something that is imminent, that is just like that. There are things that really need to be done, and if they don't take care, it might be like the Daniel Morton. He might probably go half the season and will not be registered, but like you said, eventually they get themselves registered, which becomes very, in fact, it's an issue that really needs to be I don't know, but it's a long-term thing that Barca has been going through, and as time goes on, I think Barca would, if they are able to put their things in place, I don't think it will take a season or two, maybe about 3, 4, 5 seasons, and maybe a sale of maybe some 2, 3, 4, 5 high-profile players to clear this. I wouldn't want to stay so much on, because you've done justice to that. But with those that will suffer this season, or those who would make it, I give it to Real Madrid. And I'm not saying it only based on players sold, but you know, I will always attribute things to trend, what has actually happened before. Now, Real Madrid had gone through this phase before. They've had a phase of Galacticos before. They had it in the 50s, Di Stefano, Puskas, and the rest. They came again in the 2000s, that's the most one. The time they signed Figo in 2000, they won the league. That 2000, 2001, they won it again. The only people that came in were Deportivo La Coruña, and you also had Valencia coming in. Barca went 5 years without winning anything. Now, the second Galactico era was when you had Barca still making nonsense of whatever they did in 2009, 2010. Barca won the league 2 years before Madrid was able to win something. Now, it's like the same trend this time, but this time round, Barca would have a little of the upper hand, but there are some internal issues that nobody talks about. One has to do with the prime position of Lamine Yamal, which nobody talks about. Let me put it this way. Lamine Yamal last season was is still a burden talent. He was not necessarily given all the leeway, but he had a few to do so many things. He was playing on the left flank. You had Rafinha on the right. You had Lewandowski and maybe Daniel Mo, whatever happened. Now this season, there are so many things that have been attributed to him as a result of his contract. One, Lamine Yamal will not be substituted like last season. Last season, in the course of that, you could get Hansi Flick taking him off at any point in time. In his contract, you can't just put him out. That is one. Two, now he gets the chance to also take things like free kicks and penalties, which also comes in. It's not like it's prime, but he has the chance to do. That is, Lewandowski, of course, we know he's the primary one, but now he gets the chance to take free kicks. And at a young player of that caliber at that age, when these things are now, so now he has been made the alpha male. You can put it this way. He's made an alpha male in the team. And as young as he is, and with what I am talking from my point of view and what I have seen before, with what I have seen him do, even from the end of last season to the UEFA Nations League, and a few antics and comments, his birthday party and a few things, I I just hope that he will keep his head in football and strictly in football, and he would have someone who is like a father figure to really guide him to have his head in the game so that he will be concentrated. Because for all the young players who bat and are able to reach that level, fortunately for them, if it is not their manager, it is actually their that is, it's not their personal manager, that is their agent, it is their coach or their manager who helps them out. You can talk about Cristiano Ronaldo. He was lucky to have a Ferguson to be able to guide him. He had that. Messi was able to have Frank Rijkaard and later Pep Guardiola. The German coaches are not fathers. The German coaches, they just demand something from you. But if you want them to be fathers to you, then I think for that one, you would not really get it from them. Someone like Hansi Flick, what he wants from Lamine Yamal is to play. But with his personal life and all these things, I have not really identified a German coach who does that. So with all of these things I am praying that it will not really bring a because even with whatever happened last season, I see Rafinha to be the best player of Barca last season. After that, maybe I'll talk of Inigo Martinez and Pedri before I even bring Lamine Yamal. But here we have the case that he's the one being pushed to the forefront to do everything. I just hope that this will not really bring a rift between them. That is for Barca. But with Madrid has a coach who really wants to change things. And we all know that when a new coach comes, it is either of these two things. Either you would have a new thing that blows up and becomes massive and very good, or you would have, because of the changes that will come in, it will probably set them aback. It can explode in the face of the coach, and the coach might just be off. You can talk of coaches that came into a project that was already there, they changed everything and they made things happen instantly. You can talk of someone like Jose Mourinho. Before Mourinho came, you had Claudio Ranieri, who had started their era of Chelsea 2002-2004, got into the Champions League semi-final with them, and they were second in the league. So when Mourinho came, we were expecting that he would continue. Mourinho changed everything, and they were able to still go to the semi-finals and win the league and the Carling Cup. That was for them. You can also talk of an instance that a coach comes into the team, and he's a new coach. He wants to change everything. First season, things will blow up in his face, like Guardiola in Manchester City, that is 2016-2017. He came in and it was as good as he was. He could only manage to be third. It took him another season to change things. And the same thing is with Alonso. Alonso coming in, you realize that the traditional 4-3-3 that Madrid plays, he's changed it. Now he has to play a 3-5-2. Now with a 3-5-2, the forward, you won't have a problem with it, because now he doesn't have a problem of who should play arrowhead, who should play left. Now he has Vinicius and Mbappe. Too fast. So for now, we don't even talk about Rodrigo match, unless maybe you want to do a 4-3-3. And you pointed something out which is very eminent. That has to do with the central midfield, because if you look at him, he really needs a controller in the midfield.
He has actually come out to say
yes, of course.
It's actually the primary reason why they've left that space.
Because Valverde is a mechanical person. Valverde is very mechanical. He doesn't have that technicality of Cruz. Unfortunately, too, you don't have a Modric there to also have anyone to understudy. Ade Goulet, I don't see him to be that person who would be able to. You watch him at the Club World Cup, he's trying though, but you need an established person to really be there. So for the midfield,
talk about Alaba being pushed into the midfield.
Yeah, Alaba to be pushed to the midfield. I don't think that would be new to him, because when he goes to the Austrian national team, he does that.
But that's the issue. You can be pushed to
yes. So
would you
yes. So being
better than somebody who is a proper controller.
So now being a makeshift, that is the problem. So now he's doing makeshifts in the midfield, which, like you said, I agree with it. That might bring the first season to have a bit of a rough. Maybe it will get into the latter parts of the season. He will get his team. But this is Real Madrid. It's not a matter of they waiting for you to put things together. And like I always say, Alonso is not exempted from the Real Madrid tradition. Just like Lopetegui, we all saw him. We was coming to step in for Zinedine Zidane to make things work. First 3-4 months, when things were not working out, they won't wait for you. They do it to everybody. And I know he knows that, because he knows the tradition. So experimentation is not what Real Madrid sees. That is not what they see. So I expect that for his midfield, I'm sure the transfer window has not ended. For me, I always think that they should go for someone like Nicolo Barella. They can go for him, but Inter would not also allow him to come just like that. For a team like Inter Milan, Atletico Madrid, I think, I don't know. I don't know what you really, they have a coach that is one of the top spenders of all time association football.
Yeah.
This man has spent over 3 billion. Nobody talks about him. He's the highest paid coach in the world. He is the 3rd highest spender since football started. And he has won only 2 league titles. And nobody talks about him because Atletico Madrid has become a Tottenham that wins title. They are just there. Since he came in 2011. This is his 14th year, going to his 15th year. 2 league titles, 2 Europa Leagues, and Copa del Rey. He has won 1.
And how much has he spent?
Over 3 billion. He spent more than Jose Mourinho.
A lot of money.
And the thing is, like I said, he has spent more than Jose Mourinho. Wow. This is a coach we are talking about here. He's now with Allegri. Of course, we know that Guardiola is there. Guardiola is 1 billion above everybody. He is 4 billion. The rest are 3 billion and some coins. So 3 billion. And I don't really know what is wrong with Atletico Madrid. I don't know. It's Enrico Cerezo. I don't really know. Like, what at all? Is it that they don't have a plan, or they think that without what do you call it? The coach that they have, they would.
Simeone. Evans, let's draw you in this conversation. Maybe you could start off from the Atletico Madrid bid, then you could come to Real Madrid and Barcelona. But I think genuinely, I look at the players they brought in. They brought in Rotegui, they brought in Raspadori, they brought in other young players from the La Liga that has even made the team more stronger. Diego Simeone, God knows what he's still doing at Atletico Madrid, but they think that we need the same manager that could bring them laurels.
Well, I think for Diego Simeone, whatever he told the Atletico Madrid hierarchy when he was being hired and when his contract was renewed, I think they are very strong and it's really giving him that leverage in that Atletico Madrid setup. He's one man who has been able to, if you ask me, he's been able to carefully steadily hold the ship for Atletico Madrid. Times when things get tough, okay, sometimes he's able to help them out. But at times too, he's their own, or let me say, he's the orchestrator of his own problems, especially in seasons or during the time of the season when things are too good for him to be able to do well, and you see him getting some unnecessary results here and there, playing some players that are not really cut for his style. Let's look at his style of play, that defensive type, long balls, and then one top player style of attacking. It sometimes you wonder how, the level at which football has progressed, the technicalities that have come in, the progress it has made. Sometimes you expect that these ones will not work for him. But let's be frank, at least every season, he is among the top 8 or top 6 in European football. He gets there. And maybe Atletico Madrid is not a club that is looking to win trophies for money. Maybe they are looking at bringing in the players, placing or consistency in Europe to get the money that they need to run the club. Of course, Atletico Madrid is not a club that will go into the market and want to outbid United, Madrid, Chelsea, or even Manchester City.
They spend 90 million euros on Julian Alvarez. If a club,
how much did they spend on João Felix?
Exactly. So this is a club that spends to buy.
And they do it once a while.
You need to win.
It's not once a while. They do it once a while. They do spending.
This is Atletico Madrid who have signed, just as you said, they've signed 8 players.
They brought in Raspadori. You know
how much they said?
They signed 8 players.
Yes.
And these 8 players, until you really go into the books, you will not have even heard that they signed these 8 players.
Because probably
because our attention is on others.
Because those others we are attending to, they are big boys.
Retegui is a big boy. Raspadori is a main. In fact, he's a main striker of Italy.
And they will not come close to the players that the Cities, the Madrids, the Barcas, the Uniteds, and Chelseas are following.
They do.
You genuinely think that Atletico Madrid, with the addition they've made to this team, with Giacomo Raspadori, having brought in, Retegui, Rashford, is a striker.
Yeah.
Now they do have, a Julian Alvarez there, who for me I think that this will be a great season for him. They also they have good old, Antoine Griezmann. Now they brought in Rashford, so attacking wise, they've boosted the attack. In midfield, they've done it. In defense, they've done it. Do you think that there will be a threat to possibly Barcelona, Real Madrid title challenges as they did last season?
No, for this season, if Simeone does not alter his tactics, if he doesn't learn anything new, it is going to be a bad season for him. Because look, his competitors, Barcelona and Real Madrid, have gone ahead to let me say get some additions in there. They've gone ahead to change their style of play a bit. From what I saw from Barca, how they've progressed and how they are playing now, it's quite different from how they used to play 2 seasons ago. Like same way to Madrid. Xabi Alonso is coming in with a 3-4-2-1 formation. That is, he's got the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold and all those guys coming in to help. Mbappe is now going to be on fire more. Vinicius Mbappe combination definitely going to be better. You get it? So if Simeone does not come up with a very good plan, doesn't change his way of playing, it's not going to be a very good season for him. He might not even end up in the top 3. I'm seeing them in the top. Probably the best for them will be a 4th spot, because let's face it, the last in La Liga, one thing I've noticed, like every season there's this one team that comes up as a surprise. You had the Getafes, you had times gone by, you have the Villarreals and the Valencias coming in. So definitely this is, there's going to be another team that is going to rub shoulders with the top 2, being Madrid and Barca.
But will not win.
Let's say that. But will not win. And that means that yes, and that means that it's going to be at the peril of Atletico Madrid.
They will always be third.
But for me, Atletico Madrid will not be third this season.
No,
I say them in the
Madrid will struggle. You think
Madrid will not struggle? Madrid is best poised. In fact, they are the best placed team to win the La Liga this season.
Oh.
Because yes,
even with the new manager, with the new identity, how he wants to play,
the new manager, the patience and the patience they've got for the manager to try things out, the successes or the results he's getting so far since he started doing this, the additions he's been able to make. The only problem he's facing now will have to be that workaholic in the middle. Or that the player, the midfielder,
deep line
playmaker he's looking for in the middle. Apart from that, defensively, attacking wise, and then even to the wings, he's solid. He's okay. And for Alonso, whatever he did during, I think he's well placed, because in the Club World Cup he tried some things out. He's seen his mistakes. He's worked on them, and I expect them to come out guns blazing from Tuesday. Make sure that things are working better. You get it? He's got a time. For me, he's got the time, because this is Real Madrid.
They'll give him the time.
No, he's got the time. Do you know why he's got the time? He's got the best of players. Almost all the positions. Arguably the best of players.
No. Actually, Real Madrid have some of the terrible defense.
In fact, no. In fact, the worst.
I'm saying
Militao.
Militao is not going to be.
Even Rudiger is becoming rusty.
Alaba is not your Alaba again.
You take away Dean Huysen, the rest.
Dean Huysen is coming in.
No, you take him.
Rudiger in there as well.
Rudiger is really suffering in the back three.
He's got that leverage or that luxury to even let Alaba go into the middle.
But we know that if you come up against any property, we found wanting.
The transfer season is not over. So it tells you that Alonso still has got some time to make things right. And if he's able to get a very good DM, a very good playmaker, or deep line playmaker in there, things are going to go very well for Madrid. Madrid are well poised for this season. The coach is doing well. The players. I'm so relaxed about Madrid. I'm so relaxed about Madrid. I'm so relaxed about Madrid than Barca.
Do you think that this Real Madrid once would Real Madrid have patience for Xabi Alonso if things go sour? 2, do you think that this Real Madrid team will go through that typical transition where a new manager takes over, wants to do things totally different from what this team has been doing under Ancelotti for three seasons and beyond? They are a proper counter-attacking team. Now he's coming in with his new identity. These two things, do you think that it would worry Real Madrid and
I think
Alonso?
the guys are professionals. That's why you should be able to adapt to new systems. Hansi Flick came into this Barcelona side and he won the league in his first season. So I don't see why we are making a fuss about Alonso.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work like that everywhere.
Real Madrid and then he can't deliver. Look, maybe we might say if they start the league season after some time or a couple of games, Real Madrid are struggling outside of the top 4 or something like that. But we know that will not happen.
Yeah.
The La Liga is not the Premier League. Real Madrid would almost beat everything in front of them in the La Liga. Yes, you might drop 1 or 2 points here and there, but the competition in the La Liga is not the same as, say, the Premier League.
They won it 35 times.
So even Real Madrid, with whatever challenges that they have,
win.
Barcelona with whatever challenges that they have, we know these are still going to be the top 2 teams in the La Liga.
And we share the rest.
Yes. So whatever might determine the La Liga might end up being the El Clasico. When they meet each other, what happens?
But you see,
that's El Clasico is next year.
Because Barcelona would drop 1 or 2
that same narrative.
Real Madrid would do same. But look, at the end of the day, these are still the top 2 teams.
The La Liga has not changed over the years, but that same narrative could fit into managers who were sacked when they were having terrible season in the middle of the season at Real Madrid.
That's possible.
Exactly. So things have not changed in the La Liga. It will always be these 2 plus other third person. But you know, Sammy, and on that bit, do you think that if things are going sour, Real Madrid have patience with
No.
Real Madrid is not.
Who is Alonso?
You have time on the job.
Come on, it will be.
Real Madrid are outside of the top 4, top 5 by October or November, or let's say by Christmas. Alonso,
Christmas is too far.
Whoa,
October.
Real Madrid is that institution that you can even win the league and be fired.
You win Champions League and be fired.
It depends on what the hierarchy.
The Bosky won Champions League and was fired. So
I want you to give. I don't think Madrid is that team that you go there and you want to build something for a long time.
No.
You go there and you win
and you go.
You leave.
Go your way.
That's all.
You go your way.
It's just as simple as that. Real Madrid is not Arsenal. You think Arteta would have survived that Real Madrid more than once?
We always find a way to bring it
Before we switch up to probably talking about Alice, quickly, guys, let's look at players that we think genuinely will stand out in the La Liga this season. Last season, we saw Julian Alvarez first season hitting double figures in goals in assists. Rafinha, monster season last season. Lamine Yamal, Pedri, these guys were there. Kylian Mbappe, won the Pichichi. There are lots of players, but let me start with Evans. Evans, who do you think, or give me 2 players you think at the end of the season will be calling out in the La Liga?
If Rashford gets registered, Rashford.
Whoa.
Yes.
You'll be a hit in the La Liga.
No, you'll be you'll be a key factor.
We're talking about players at the end of the season.
At the end of the season, you'll be a key factor.
Will even be a starter.
Will end. That is how I see it.
Was.
So if Rashford gets registered, Rashford, and then to a large extent, Vinicius.
Sammy.
No, I wouldn't even bring Vinicius in my top 5.
He's lost for me. He's lost.
I'm going for these 2. I know why. You are putting them aside, but they'll come out.
With this Vinicius conversation, I've always maintained that Mbappe would win the Ballon d'Or before Vinicius.
Of course.
I've said that time and time again, and I believe that's what's going to happen. We can't downplay the influence of Lamine Yamal in this Barcelona side. And look, the guy, for however old he is or whatever his age is, he's one of the captains.
Whatever his age is.
Yes, he's one of the.
How old is he?
We don't believe the
age.
For his age and, and what that gentleman does, look, the kind of confidence that he plays with, it makes you even get annoyed when you see some of the shenanigans that players like Garnacho and the like that pull. Because look, this guy is delivering week in, week out for Barcelona and Spain.
On the level you think he's changing.
At the highest level. And so
I think we'll probably be talking about Lamine Yamal, Kylian
Mbappe. I think we will talk about Kylian Mbappe. I'm hoping to see Rafinha replicate the same form that he had last season. And look, I think Pedri is one guy that we should also look out for this season. Brilliant midfielder.
I am going for Lamine Yamal, Kylian Mbappe. I think he will win the Pichichi again. I don't think that Julian Alvarez will challenge him, or even Robert Lewandowski will challenge. I think Kylian Mbappe will win the Pichichi again. Lamine Yamal. I agree with Sammy. I don't think that we will see Rafinha put up those monster numbers again. If there's going to be a third force in there, it will probably be Julian Alvarez. Coming in Atletico Madrid. I don't know. Your pick for players who eventually stand out in
For me, of course, KM Lawton, Kylian Mbappe, and Alexander Solot.
Solot from Atletico Madrid.
Yes, nobody talks about him. My big striker. For that guy, I think Atletico Madrid's inconsistency of who plays up front is what is really not making the guy come out. Because today's Alvarez, Griezmann, I think it's about time they bench Griezmann. The guy's use is he's outdated. They should rather bring him from the bench. Okay. They will play Alvarez as more like a 10 fitting in. You see, Solot is a this City number 9. Haaland. He's a Haaland type. He's a Haaland type of player, and if you feed him, he would really do well.
So for you, it's Kylian Mbappe, Solot,
and Partey.
Yes. Okay. Let's wrap up on the La Liga discussion with your top 4. La Liga right now they're also doing top 5. So top 5 in the La Liga this season.
Let me start with mine. Yeah. So for me, Madrid will win.
Okay.
And for me, Barca would be third.
Okay.
Atletico will be second.
Okay.
Villarreal will be fourth. Sevilla will be fifth.
Okay. Evans.
Well, I'll start with Madrid first, Barcelona second, Sevilla third, Atletico Madrid fourth, and then Villarreal.
I'm surprised people are even bringing Sevilla in the conversation. They've been terrible in the last 2 seasons.
Don't worry.
Don't worry. Anyway, so I am going for Barcelona.
Obviously.
First, Atletico Madrid second. Real Madrid.
But why that gap between Madrid and...
No, I've stated my reason. I think that they are going to have issues, and that issue will affect them. And I think that Atletico have strengthened enough to be able to give these two guys a very difficult competition in the La Liga. So my top 5 in the La Liga will be Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, Villarreal, and Athletic Bilbao. Sammy.
Well, I think Barcelona might just maintain the league. If we are looking at the current state of Real Madrid, if they don't do any other transfer business, I don't think the team has the balance that it needs, especially in midfield. So I would have to go for Barcelona. I think Barcelona would defend the league with the current squad they have and the current squad Real Madrid have. Madrid obviously in second place. I would go Bilbao in third. I think Athletic Bilbao would go one further than they did last season. I would place Atletico Madrid in fourth and then Villarreal in fifth.
Okay.
If Barcelona should win the... I'm not changing my mind. But if Barcelona should win the trophy, it means that they will win the trophy with the man who just joined them.
Marcus Rashford.
Yeah. So Rashford will be the star.
But Rashford is not starting. He's not starting ahead of Femi Lopez or Ferran Torres.
No. He doesn't play. He plays at Rafinha's position.
You never know.
You may never know. But guys, if you're watching us, if this is your first time watching us, this is Sport 101, and if you've not subscribed yet, make sure head to YouTube. Type or search for Sport 101. Subscribe to the channel so that you can have access to all our amazing content, everything sports. This is where you need to be listening to. On Facebook as well, it's Sport 10ONE. On TikTok, Sport 101 Live. You can have access to all our content. What is your ultimate prediction for the La Liga this season? The guys have had their take. They've shared their thoughts on who they think will be the standout players and also who is winning the La Liga. In the comment section, keep the conversation going. But something you're telling us about, Rashford recently, he granted an interview and so many issues, something that he couldn't have said what he said any better in relation to whatever United was building.
Yeah, so Evans ended the conversation
with Rashford.
Yes, and He's a United fan.
So
Maybe he can tell us more about
I'm highly on
what's going
top of
on.
it. Like
Yes.
it's so frustrating. Lack of a better word. It's so Rashford says that United are in no man's land. They lack a long-term vision. I mean, putting it in other words, they lack long-term vision, and he believes that the managerial changes and things is not really driving the purpose or the ambitions of the players in that particular squad. And I'm like, no. When you were given the time, when you were given the opportunity to pick the club from that level, take it up there, you didn't come up to the. I mean, he was not able to do that work, and so I'm wondering what he's seen at Barcelona. I'm wondering what he saw and what he heard when he was frozen out of the team, for him to be able to say all these things about Manchester United. Because for you to say that a team is in no man's land and because of the managerial changes and things, it is neither here nor there.
Let me just take it from
probably maybe you understand the whole story.
Why isn't the team
First
in
of-
no man's land?
First of
The
all,
team is in no man's land because it's in transition.
first of all,
The team is. And when a team is
I
in
want to.
transition-
I just want to make a comparison of where he's coming from and where he's going to. He talked about managerial changes. I'm just taking it from 2013, and I'm mentioning the number of managers both teams have changed. Manchester United, from Ferguson, you had Giggs interim, you had Van Gaal coming in, Moyes coming in 3, Mourinho 4, your serial caller Ralph Rangnick 5, Carrick 6, as a chef, Ten Hag 7. As are these 7 managers, this one could have even taken some out.
it's 7 days. I think
Only 8. Go to Barca, the same from 2013. Guardiola 1, Jordi Rora 2, then the one who passed away,
Tito.
Villanova 3, then Ernesto Valverde 4, then what do you call it, Luis Enrique 5. After that, then you also come to Xavi 6. Before Xavi, Quique Setien 7. After Quique Setien, who is here right now? Who is here right now? 8. You are comparing 2 teams who have both have 8 managers.
Since 20.
So that one already is.
Why he wasn't comparing?
No, I'm coming.
Let me finish.
I'm coming. No, I'm not talking about. No, I'm coming. I'm coming. No, please. No. I'm coming.
Yeah.
He made a statement. The first thing he talked about is that United has been changing managers. I wanted to make that one. The changing of the managers is flawed. Take that one off, because both teams you've gone to have changed 8 managers in the past 12 years. 8 plus. Number 2, he mentioned something that when he was giving them, see, I hate players who are not there who talk. If you are not there, you don't have the guts to make any statement. That is why I don't just listen to statements made by just any player. If I hear like somebody like Cassano, when Cassano was talking about something like that is why I like Roberto Baggio. He said that he hates to listen to pundits because some of these people, they couldn't even kick a ball. You can't kick a ball and you sit down when you criticize players. Cassano was making issues about Ronaldo, and Ronaldo was like, Cassano, what did he do in football that he had the guts to criticize him? If Cristiano Ronaldo could stand up and talk about Manchester United and talk about their dressing room and talk about all the things that they did, what do I have to say? This is a 5-time Ballon d'Or winner talking. He has gone to teams and won the best player of every team. If he talks, I would have some credibility to talk about it. You Rashford, that you had a chance because Will Keane had an injury in what you call Manchester United Team B. Nobody even remembers Will Keane. Will Keane was our striker. He said United had Rooney was injured that season, 2015-2016. Memphis Depay was injured. We didn't have any player. So United was going to kick for Will Keane. James Wilson was injured. When they went there, Will Keane was also injured. Then they picked you, an 18-year-old boy. First game against Midland, you scored 2 goals. Arsenal, you scored 2 goals. You scored against City. Then we took you as, next season, then United had now started. So Mourinho came in, gave you the chance. You played in the last season of Rooney. They gave you Rooney's number 10 jersey in the 17-18 season. In fact, the whole team was built around you. At first, you came in as a number 9, and you said that you can't play as a number 9 because of you. The Martial who was supposed to be playing number 9 was then pushed to 11. Now they put him back to number 9 so that you will play the left wing. Now, during the time of Ole, that is during the time of Mourinho complained about you. It's not that Mourinho never complained about you. Ole came in. Ole's time, you were playing in that same team. Then there were riffraffs, and the last season before, Cristiano Ronaldo came in 1920 season. That was when they were saying you had your arguably best season. You couldn't even score up to 35 goals. That was your best season. Ronaldo comes in, and there were people who were making issues like, because of Cristiano Ronaldo you cannot play. How can they bring a best player into a team and you cannot play with the player?
What did Rashford say that is wrong?
What he said was that United lacks. He said he lacks what?
But
United lacks vision. You are a player that the team was being built around. Now, what couldn't you have done to salvage the situation?
In the last 15 years, has United shown any direction of a big club?
Let me quote what he said.
I actually do have the quote. I think that
you
quoting Rashford.
I am not talking about the fact that what he said is right or wrong. The player in question who is talking about it is what I'm talking about.
You've just attacked the player for what?
I have attacked the player because like I said, when Cristiano talked about the fact that United had rats and the rest in the E, and people attacked him, I couldn't attack him, not only because I'm a United fan or I love Ronaldo. This is a player.
So you think because he's not won anything?
No. In terms of what direction
that he said,
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of the direction, he says, if your direction is always changing, you can't expect to be able to win the league.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you might win some cup tournaments, but it's because you do have a good coach,
mm-hmm.
and you do have good players,
mm-hmm.
and you have match winners in your team. You are not there by accident.
Very good. It means he himself is not a winner. Let's put that one aside because he is not a winner. No, you are in a team. You are not a winner. No. Listen. First of all, he is not a winner. Rashford is not a winner. You have been in a team. No, you are in a team that the team is being built around you. Do you know that Barca has experienced what United has experienced in the last 12 years, but save a player called Lionel Messi? Barca has been through the worst financial issue that any team has had. United didn't even go through that. Barca had their top three ripped apart. Suarez wasn't consistent. Neymar had left. You had only Messi. And if you check the team, the win percentage was all embodied on Messi. He scores the most goals. He does the most assists. No, I'm coming. I'm trying to tell you that Barca's issues, cracks were all covered because of one player.
So you think he could
have stepped up? No, listen, I'm trying to say that issue. No,
that's where I'm also coming.
Teams have it. You should step up.
You should have stepped up.
That's what you should do.
When everybody
you step up before you talk.
Knew that United had problems.
You score 20 goals and you want to be held. You come for contract extension when you have nothing to prove.
He feels that Rashford shouldn't be talking.
He has no moral rights
because he's let United down.
He should stay in Barca. After this season, he should stay.
I think if you listen to what he said when he said people say we've been in transition for years. To be in a transition, you have to start the transition. So it's like the actual transition has not started yet.
True.
To start a transition, you have to make a plan and stick. So this is the thing that I feel it's not easy because if it's not going well, the fans demand change. But this is where I speak about being realistic with what your situation is. I feel like we've had that many different managers and different ideas and different strategies in order to win. You end up in the middle of, you end up in no man's land. I think that what he's trying to say here is there are too many decisions about Man United that tells you that there is no sense of direction.
Simple.
And
it's as simple as ABC.
As football lovers, maybe as Man United fans, I think a lot of United fans are probably just being emotional because it is Rashford.
Simple.
It is not about being emotional.
No. Ronaldo said it.
This one,
nobody would question
Ronaldo.
Look,
it is.
Ronaldo said it. Nobody would question it.
He is not a party.
When Cristiano Ronaldo granted that interview, I was one of the people that I was mad at Cristiano.
I'm not.
The reason why I was mad at him was at the time he was a Man United player, so you don't go out and say certain things about your club whilst
you are still a player.
Rashford, yes, maybe he's saying too much because he's still a Manchester United player. So maybe he's saying too much. But this was a podcast. He was asked a question. He shared his opinion. Some are saying that, well, he has closed the door, he has locked the door, he's caused problems for himself and blah, blah, blah. Yes, I agree with the fact that he should have stepped up. As of now, Rashford is supposed to be one of the senior players at Man United. It would surprise you to Rashford is about 26 going on 27. When he burst onto the scene and he scored that penalty against Buffon in the Champions League, we thought that we're seeing the next big thing. He was handed the number 10 jersey, given a lot of responsibility. So yes, Rashford had his own role to play. But I also think that, you know, there are different kind of players. There are certain players that they thrive under certain systems. As a footballer, yes, you're supposed to be adaptable to every kind of system. But when a manager comes in, he comes in with his own style, he comes with his own temperament. That's the reason why there are some players that were not playing under a certain manager. Typical example, Ahmad, he wasn't really playing under Ten Hag.
Yeah. But
Amorim comes in, he's able to find a system that he can easily adapt. Now he can even play about 2 different positions.
Yeah.
Garnacho was arguably United's player under Ten Hag.
True.
Amorim comes in and Garnacho is struggling to play in that number 10 role because he wants to be a typical winger. So just maybe for Rashford, he had that issue about transitioning and all those things affect your game as a footballer, because a new manager comes in and he wants to play this way. Another manager comes in and he wants to play that way. But the United fans feel that once you are a professional footballer, you are a Mancunian, you are from Manchester, you've played at the club all your life, you've been given a number 10 jersey, you should be able to step up irrespective of whichever manager is there, as we've seen with Bruno Fernandes. So that's where the United fans are coming from, and maybe I agree, because as a Man United player, you don't suck. As Marcus Rashford, you don't coil into your shell because there are challenges and then it affects your game. No,
That's exactly what.
That's where people will have a problem with him, because it's like he's bowed his head down and then he feels like he's the victim here and blah blah. I think that's absolutely rubbish. But in terms of what he is speaking as the challenges that are at Man United, I don't have a problem with it. I think he's speaking facts. Maybe he's making excuses for himself, which I disagree with. But in terms of the transition aspect of United, the decisions that Man United have made, who doesn't know that United have made very, very irresponsible decisions in recent times, especially financially? And that's what, Ineos is trying to correct. If you look at United's wage structure as it stands now, Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes are the only players that are clocking over 300,000. And that's because they are trying to sanitize whatever it is that's going on at United financially. And I think that it will transcend into other aspects of the club. We've seen the new training ground. We are hearing about a new stadium. So, yes, these are the things that we want to see. But in terms of giving managers time, in terms of that transition, we've had transition. Look, United have not made any progress. If anything at all, from the time Ole was at the club till now, United have actually retrogressed. So in that regard, I think Rashford was speaking some facts, but as a professional footballer, I think he has failed himself.
And you see, I agree with you 100%. And I think that Percy's line of thought is an embodiment of most United fans. Very emotional, upset with Rashford.
I wouldn't.
You know why? I think that, listen, I always tell people that it's not so much about the messenger, it's about the message. Put the messenger aside and analyze what the guy is saying. Fine, like Sammy went there, you may have your issues that at some point you should have stepped up, at some point you should have been the bigger boy in the team and delivered when it mattered the most. He failed. Yes, I do not think that Rashford in any interview has at some point taken himself out of the problems of United. He's speaking to the realities on the ground. Percy made mention of the fact that, in that same period, Barcelona have also had close to about 8 managers. But look at the difference here. The years Pep Guardiola spent at Barcelona, 4 years, look at the plethora of trophies he won them, and the stability he brought, and the new identity of what Barcelona is now. It's as a result of that one manager, and it has transitioned on up until Hansi Flick has walked in and has changed anything. Even though there have been new managers, because you don't expect that one manager will stay there for all this while. We know why Pep Guardiola left. When he left, Tito Vernanova came in. He also had his wing. He also had his stake. Transition has come. So don't even talk, because the United situation, you can't even compare that to the Barcelona situation. He's talking about there is no project, there is no transition, and he says something that is key. For a transition to begin, you have to start from somewhere. Have you seen that with Manchester United? What United have been doing is they start something, it's not working, let's change this manager. It's not working, let's change this manager. They brought, Ralf Ragnick. I call him the Sierra caller because he talks more than he delivers on the pitch. They change him. They bring in Oliver, Solskjaer. They change him. They bring in this manager. They change him. Even Ten Hag. Kofi has always, had a stance that, listen, Ten Hag should be given time. You have the view that he shouldn't be given time. But even Ten Hag's period, some believe that no, give the man time. There are issues. If you want to properly build from the damages that have been caused, give the man time. And he made a poignant point that, look at Liverpool. The first 5 seasons of Jurgen Klopp, it was dry, it was terrible. But nobody talks about Jurgen Klopp's first 5 seasons. Do you know why? Because post that, in the next 4 years, he made Liverpool a powerhouse. Albeit they didn't win a plethora of trophies, but Sammy, arguably, they won every single trophy there is to win in this world as a club. They won the Champions League in that period. They won the league in that period. They won the FA Cup in that period. They won the Carabao Cup in that period. They won the Super Cup in that period. Though it may not be, in terms of quantity, it may not be much. But what Rashford is saying that, listen, we need to come to the point where we don't change managers.
But some will tell you that United, the caliber of club Man United is, you can't say it is the same as Liverpool in terms of that magnitude, in terms of global appeal. Maybe in England, yes, but look, United not doing well and them firing managers, there were consequences that resulted in that. United losing games on the bounce, United dropping points, United not playing in the Champions League, there were financial consequences. It's not just about what happens on the pitch and saying you are giving manager time. So some will say that yes, there were other pressures that were coming from different quarters, sponsorship deals and all of that.
If you listen to Rashford carefully, he there was a point in the interview where he made emphasis, or he threw emphasis on the fact that there will be sacrifices that you need to make to be able to achieve what you want to achieve as a team that is coming from the problems that United have had. So if the United agree, and if he cited the example that he thinks that if there's going to be the start of this transition, it's going to start with Amorim. Because sitting here, I agree with him, because I think that, listen, if Amorim does not even perform this season, they won't sack him. Because they think that they've gotten the man that we can begin, or we can work this transition. Let's give this man 3, 4, 5 seasons and we can see the best of United. That's what Marcus Rashford is saying that there are sacrifices that you need to make. So you made mention of United losing financially. It's part of the sacrifice. Listen, we know United is one of the biggest clubs in the world. When they don't make the Champions League, they will lose money. When they don't win the league, they will lose money. But those are the sacrifices, because you don't start a project and in year 1 the project will succeed and you expect the project to go on and succeed. No, you have some few challenges, and primarily
how does the team get the kind of players that they want? How does the team continue that transition and rebuilding if they are losing money?
Exactly. So what every project has faces. So okay, for now we are losing money. We cannot sign the marquee players out there. What do? United have always prided themselves on going into the academy. Can't we get 1 or 2 players from the academy? Look at Barcelona. They are going through their challenge. They can't even sign. But they realize that no, we can make do with some of the best talent available. They go in for Casado. And that's what, if Xavi has not done anything good for Barcelona, it's one thing Xavi has done that he needs to be credited for. They go in for Casado,
But he's being sold.
They bring in
The Casado is being sold.
They bring in Pau Kubas. They bring in Lamine Yamal, and he brought in all these players. He brings in Fermin Lopez. So at least he's found a way. So United can also say we have some of the best academy in the world. Can we not get 2 or 3 players, augment them with 1 or 2 players? Primarily, I'm not saying that Rashford is the best of person or best of players out there, but the message, and like you have alluded to perfectly, what he said, is it wrong? Have United really properly had a transition or a project in place in the last
Like
Can I come
years?
in? Can I?
Let's go.
Quick one. Can his theory be justified across all fronts? You know, when somebody puts out a theory, then you would want to test that theory in all scenarios. And then when you're able to test that theory in all scenarios, then you say, oh, okay, that theory probably works. Is the theory of transition only peculiar to Manchester United, or it is peculiar with all other clubs?
It depends.
No.
Everyone goes through that.
Transition.
Who?
Arsenal, are they still in transition? Hold on. Because you analyze the comments the guy made and make it make sense.
No, you see, hold on. Don't compare United situation with other clubs, because every club.
No. Then you get it wrong.
No,
Because the guy was making the theory sound general.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned the Liverpool example, and I am happy Sammy went there. When Liverpool appointed Klopp, there was little or no pressure on Klopp.
There was
to perform.
absolutely nothing.
Liverpool were at their lowest step.
Yes.
Liverpool has not won anything in a while.
Nothing.
You understand? So ask myself simple questions. Is the theory only peculiar to Manchester United that longevity of managers necessarily means that the transition is going to fully blossom? Because that is what he sought to say. Hold on. It means that if you're able to stick with managers, irrespective of their bad results, irrespective of what fans think or otherwise, then it means that in the long term, it is going to reap results. That's what he sought to say.
No, he's saying that if you do things right, he didn't just talk about longevity of managers. He talk about what you do in the period of keeping the manager.
Let me ask you basic questions. Manchester United appointed very good managers post Alex Ferguson.
Yes, I think so.
The best.
Why is it that the club is still where it is?
Because I think that they've not managed the situation well.
No.
That's your opinion.
Hold on. Exactly my opinion. Hold on.
Don't manage the situation well.
I think that the club is where it is because of individuals like Rashford.
Oh, come on. Then you are attacking players.
No. Why do you call it an attack on players? Look. I have always said
individuals like Rashford.
Exactly the point.
Once again.
No. Listen. All of these rebels at Manchester United is the reason, the player power.
Yeah.
But who brings
The
these
player
players?
No. Rashford was from the academy.
Hold on.
Rashford was an academy player. No.
Where's the player
Who
power?
brings these players?
Where's the player power coming from?
First of all, we need to look at the statement holistically. The guy was trying to make a statement that this is Manchester United. They have always not stuck to managers. They claim they are in transition, but they never are in transition, because when the results start going south, they will press the reset.
How does the result even go south?
Fantastic.
How does it go south?
And I'm asking. Look, Manchester United has been where it is today because they have overly pampered players,
Of course.
who are not worthwhile.
And they've built it around you, player like you.
You see, when somebody tells me that, I think that this interview, first of all, my candid opinion, it was a PR gimmick.
With the PR game.
You have always not liked Rashford. So I mean, you always not like Rashford.
It was a PR gimmick. Look, he had an interview with Leninka, who else?
Micah Richards.
What? Did they even question him about his own standards?
I'm shocked.
Did they even question
No,
him?
they should
about
have
his
had
own
someone like
standards?
Gary Neville should
I
have
think
interviewed him.
If you want to say things, then you present yourself in the best light.
Of course.
Did they even mention standards? All the clubs you claim are in transition, they have players who work hard for the badge. Did they question him about his attitude on the pitch, his lackadaisical attitude? Look, I can show you a plethora of clips where Rashford loses a ball, is walking back.
Ronaldo even made this. He made this situation.
And see,
So what is the issue now?
in any case,
Is the issue wrong? What he said, is it wrong or because I don't get confused.
I am saying
Is it wrong?
I am saying that sticking to a manager, being in transition, longevity does not matter.
Fine, but what he
You
said,
understand?
is it wrong?
Because I am saying that, use the Arsenal example. Mikel Arteta has been there 7 years. Are they going forward?
Because for me, he's not the right manager.
Are they going forward? So it's not really about longevity. I think it's about finding the right manager, believing in his approach, and then trusting the manager to win or otherwise based on his approach. And this is why I think in next few minutes, I think that this is the first time in so many years that United, I feel, have gotten a manager who is stubborn enough to want to implement his ideologies, i.e. Amorim. Look, Eric Ten Hag was a great manager before he came to Manchester United. But when he came to Manchester United, the pressure at Manchester United let him go of the principles that brought him to the top.
Identity.
You understand? And that is why people like Samuel would always say that, yes, he won some cup trophies, but he was not staying true to his identity. And I feel that in Amorim, the guy says he wants to play a 3-back. Whatever you do, he does not care. I mean, last season, people were saying that sacrifice it. I think that the issue with Manchester United has been that they have not gotten a manager who has stayed true to his principles and then implemented his project to a latter.
Finally, I mean, before we wrap up on this, and I'm sure those watching us would want to have their take. Do you think that what the guy said, he's wrong?
No, I think that's. I mean, I think that it was a poorly managed PR gimmick, and like Percy
You
said,
still know that. So what he said,
no,
whatever
he didn't say
said,
anything.
is it wrong?
No, if
What
you
did he
have
say?
listened to me, all I've said is that the guy didn't say anything because at the end of the day, the theory that he sought to espouse, at the end of the day, you cannot test that theory on any other club.
Okay, so if you cannot test that theory on any other club, you want to test that theory with you out there watching us live on Sport 101. What do you make of Marcus Rashford's comment in relation to what United have been through over the years post Alex Ferguson? I'm sure you've seen or read that interview he had with Gary Lineker and Micah Richards there. We want to know your thoughts in the comment section. It's a divided table here. Myself and Sammy, we're leaning towards one angle, while Scopy and Percy are also leaning towards one angle. This is Sport 101. If you've not subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel Sport 101 on YouTube. On Facebook, it's Sport 10ONE. On TikTok, it's Sport 101 Live. This is where sports belongs.